Ready. Check Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. That's right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. That's right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. I said Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Rewriters Room. We are the men with the pen. Happy 2022. We know we've been away for a little while, but we back like we never left, and we are back right in time for an exciting season in the WWE. It is the Royal Rumble is soon, and that means we are on the road to SoFi Stadium, aka WrestleMania 38, which should be a blast. I am Armand, founder of Bald Nigga Ballers. Otis Hive is alive and well. I've been waiting for 2 years to have my moment of glory. My dog has a title around his waist right now. Y'all can't tell me nothing. He pinned Randy Orton. I'm going to get into that a little later, though, because I want to introduce my guys. Fellas, how y'all feeling?
Hey, what's good? It's CC, the best rapper and producer in the whole wide world. God body, because I consume healthy products and do towel curls, benevolent servant to the earth, and philanthropist. And every phrase that I say is a gem like Amethyst. Amethyst. Let me go back and remix the Amethyst. My bad. You could put any nigga next to me, right? Say we in the pool hall. Boom. I just knocked motherfucking 14 corner pocket. Don't even know if that's a number. Can't remember that shit. Dope ass women gonna be like, oh, that's him over there. And then they're gonna look at you like, yo, whose man's is this? I may talk a lot, but I only got one thing to say. Love yourself and keep going. You are the world, give all you can, take care of your body and your land. I was just doing this warm-up so I can introduce my nigga Chan. Where you at?
What's going on, beautiful people? Pouring live from the mid-card Mafia Faction High. We are here. Hope you guys have been staying safe. You know, Marion is real. And you know what else is real? AEW. Because they in a lot of trouble, man. They in some real deep shit right now. Because the streets are saying Cody Rhodes is free agent, boy. And the streets are saying Stardust, we might be compared to the Royal Rumble, man. You ain't hear from me, dog. But y'all on some deep shit. If niggas start jumping from AEW back, you might lose a little bit of credibility, dog.
Yeah. Hey.
I wish. I can't even sing that shit. God damn it. I'm gonna have to edit that out now.
It's okay, bro. It's all right. It adds color. It adds character to this podcast. But definitely good to be back with y'all. We have missed a lot. There have been releases. There have been title changes. There have a lot of title changes. There have been just a lot of different things. And so we want you all to stay tapped in as you have been by subscribing to the Patreon /The A Show RNC, where you can get access to a bunch of bonus content. Legendary Run is coming back soon. You can get more of the War Report, more of the A Show, spot callers, all that good stuff. We got hella content for y'all. But yeah, let's just jump right into this pre-write. Like I said, we have missed a lot of things. And so I'll start with mine. My pre-write is #adjustments. As Chan alluded to earlier, the Omicron variant has been running through the country, but it has impacted the WWE as well. We saw Roman Reigns had to take some time off and miss WWE Day One. And through that, Brock Lesnar was added to the Day One WWE Championship match, which became a fatal five-way. He ended up getting the pin and winning the WWE title, which sent social media ablaze, especially off the heels of Tony Khan's comments that he made about Big Swole related to her being a bad wrestler, and that's why she was fired, and alluding to all the diversity within AEW's management and all the diverse people that are on TV. We saw Tony Storm requested her release. We saw Hit Row was released. There's just been a lot of adjustments, but the one good thing about the WWE, you know, people may not like it, people may like it, is they are great at adjusting. You know, the Day One pay-per-view, I thought was very enjoyable. Toni Storm asked for her release, and Charlotte has no one to face. So they say, hey, Charlotte, you're going to be in the Royal Rumble match. And I think it's a really cool storyline. Like, to see the progression of women from, 2015 to now with the women's evolution. And now we're going to see a women's champion in the Royal Rumble match. And, she's saying she's going to win it and choose her challenger. I don't think she's going to win it. I think it's going to be a similar situation to when Brock entered. The person who eliminates her is probably going to end up being her challenger. And like, even with Toni Storm leaving, Asuka still isn't back yet. Bayley's still recovering. Lacey Evans is gone. Like, there's a lot of women who are viable contenders to face Charlotte. I've been preaching Shayna Baszler's praises forever, that she needs to finally, get into that title picture. I think there's a lot of momentum for Naomi right now. And I think the whole Sonya Deville storyline could be a launch pad for that. A lot of people think it'll be Naomi versus Sonya at WrestleMania, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, Sonya is not enough of a compelling authority figure for me to think that she's going to end up getting the Mania match against Naomi. And that would also be like too much time, like, invested in this storyline. It's already been going for months. I don't want to see that match at Mania. It will be a cool match for the Rumble. It will be a cool match at, Elimination Chamber, which we know is going to be in Saudi, Fastlane, but I don't think that's the Mania match. I think, if they want to capitalize on all of the support Naomi gets on social media, there's no bigger moment to do it than giving her that Mania match against Charlotte. It would be her first one-on-one match at a WrestleMania. And it would be a title match too. And like, Charlotte and Naomi, like, their friendship goes back years. I think of all the, like, we know when Charlotte's in the ring with someone who she respects and she likes, she gives them way more. And from her matches with Charlotte, like, with Naomi rather, they've all been really good matches. So
that last one I'm already putting it in my books, like, as like one of the best ones I've seen in a minute. Keep going. My bad. I had to say it.
No, you're good, man. You're good. And then we see Seth Rollins will be challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at Royal Rumble. And I'm going to get into that later with my free write, but it is adjustment season. There's injuries. Drew McIntyre is out. Xavier Woods is out. A lot of different people are out. We're dealing with things, and the WWE has to, change its course and course correct. But I haven't been disappointed or frustrated by anything yet. So I'm looking forward to what these adjustments will lead to. And I think it's going to be a great WrestleMania season regardless.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think come on, Roman said he's in God mode, bro. He said it out loud himself. Like, they know what they're doing. Like, they were able to take that situation, have him like be out with COVID, like have Brock do his thing, and just like, it's still rolling. And now we're interested in something new. And like, it's like, and probably in like a month and a half, we're not even going to really, it's not going to be top of mind how we got here, which is good storytelling. Like, so yeah, that's really great. And that actually kind of rolls into somebody that I'd like to talk about, which is somebody that Armand used to like to talk about a lot while a certain trend / partnership was going on or whatever. Things kind of cooled down and there was a change, and then there was a certain switch up, and then this guy gets paired with one of my favorite wrestlers, Chad Gable, and now we have the re-rise of Otis. It makes it easier to bear. Come on, bruh. Listen. Have you seen Otis's face with his haircut and that stash? This is the funniest shit I've ever seen. This is so ridiculous. He looks so ridiculous. Chad Gable is just lit up, like he's lighting up the crowd, as well as like putting on amazing matches. Like let's not forget, Chad Gable is an amazing wrestler. Like, because of Otis, we get to see Chad Gable wrestle against credible people like more and more often, which I am grateful for. Like, me loving the mid card like I do. But the other part that I like about Otis now is he's not really saying or doing much except for crushing the fuck out of people, which is great, because what you're essentially doing is stripping his character down back to a foundation where now you can build an entirely new personality on him. So like, the thing is like, I'm not even geeking out over where he is right now. I'm geeking out over the fact that I know what they're doing. Like, I know where this can go from here. It's like, oh shit, because you stripped his character down, now he's just like Bruiser guy. But you can always add personality to Bruiser guy. Like look at Kane now versus who he was. Like I'm watching Kane a year and a half. I'm watching Kane a year and a half after his debut. He has way more personality than he did when he first debuted. And then we know where he goes to go from there. Otis can get that same treatment. The big guys like really need that. And like, that's why Big E kind of transcends, because he kind of has the physique, but he walks and talks like one of the smaller guys does. So I'm just glad to see Otis. And I guess I'm finally part of Otis Hive, because I think the other part about it too is like I'm watching him, like it's clear that he got better with Chad Gable. Like that's very clear to me.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't watching like a lot of his matches before, but I'm watching him now. And if you look at like choices that he's making and how he's wrestling, and like the pacing also, he's keeping up with people who are fast and stuff like that. As he's not slowing the match down at all. But he also has his own kind of pace. Like when he hits you with the power slam or something like that, then he'll get up, walk around, do his thing. So it's like he's getting the grooves or whatever. He's learning how to like go with the flow of the match. So I'm excited to see both character-wise and wrestling-wise, to see where this is going to go. Because I feel like we're about to get some, because he's funny too. But that's the other thing, is like you have to remember this nigga actually can pull off the personality shit. So this is gonna be some entertaining ass shit. We about to get some great mid-card shit out this nigga. I promise. I see it coming. It's I can't see it for Otis.
So I can tell you exactly where Otis is going. He is going right into that 24/7 title picture after this.
My God.
He is going to be a staple at the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards.
It sounds like you're confusing him with gender, bro. I don't know.
Getting slimed incredibly often. Also, do not ever disrespect Glenn Jacobs like that. Like, don't ever. Also, by proxy, disrespecting Undertaker by comparing him to Tucker in this Heavy Machinery Brothers Destruction comparison you just made there.
I wasn't
You should never disrespect Kane and the Undertaker the way you just did. I just want you to know that was really disrespectful.
I just want to know I came in peace and love when I was talking. That's all I wanted you to know. I just want you to know that from my heart. That's all I want.
Kane and Undertaker have done a lot of raising their arms very slowly for you to compare that to Heavy Machinery, which lasted all of like 6 months on the main roster before Mandy Rose broke him up like Ray Shrimmer. Not Ray Shrimmer, the New Boys. Like TNA broke up the New Boys.
Yeah.
Dan Tinashe.
I mean, yeah.
But anyway, onto a wrestler who actually has a future in the company. I'd like to talk to you about my newest favorite son, LeBron Breaker. He is the future of professional wrestling. I compare a lot to, like, not necessarily him as an individual person, but his kind of archetype of wrestling. I compare a lot to like what we saw in the NFL, once you started having a lot of these elite athletes start playing quarterback, where like once you introduce elite athleticism, you just can't not have it. Like, it just makes the people who are like more stationary or less athletic that much more of a standout and that much more of a liability. And I think what we're just going to see is that the base level floor athleticism from your average like wrestler would just be so much higher than it used to be. And I think honestly, in the long term, it's probably a smarter play, because what you're doing, in my opinion, is you're creating the same spectacle, but you're basically trading like the gruesomeness of like professional wrestling of the 90s of like a mix full, just like sheer brutality, and replacing that with like spectacle of like athleticism and like that type of like wow moments where like Bron Breaker's like a standing moonsault instead of just like throwing someone out of a moving car. So I think that's kind of where you're seeing. I think that's what you'll see a lot, especially with like you see these people who are being signed with like the NIL deals, like straight from college. You're just putting more athleticism into wrestling, and I just think that helps the base level. And obviously, you'll still have your people who are like, you know, indie circuit guys, but I just think your base level wrestler will be way more athletic than he was like 10, 15 years ago. And I think that's good for the company, because you just increase, I think you'll increase the floor of wrestling, and you also will increase the style of wrestling that like WWE likes to do, which if you don't like to watch, obviously you're not a fan of that. But as someone who I do, I think it just helps. You know, it lifts all boats, I guess.
Yeah.
Bro, he reminds me of the 90s guys, man. That's what he makes me feel like. He's just a tough motherfucker type. I like
that.
him.
That was actually going to be my second point. Thank you for reminding me. Is like one thing I was thinking about, like, because I love gimmicks and like things like that. And I was thinking about how like if especially when someone's like first starting out, if you give them too specific a gimmick, it's like so much harder for them to get over.
Yeah.
And like if you want to know who like WWE wants to be like a main eventer, their gimmick, especially for the guys, they want to be a babyface, is always like, I'm a tough guy. Like that's the extent of it, because you can do so much more. That's like when you think about like what is like, before this, what is like Roman Reigns' gimmick? It's like, I'm just tough. What is Seth Rollins' gimmick? I just wrestle real good. What is Kevin Owens' gimmick? I just fight. Whereas like once you have that kind of vagueness, you can kind of move it in different directions. But if you have something like more specific, like a Tony D'Angelo, it's like there's only so far you can take that. And it's almost like he's pigeonholed if he keeps that strong of a character. And I think it's just really interesting. And you see Braun Breaker has that, where like his gimmick is just, I'm really tough and he has cool gear. And I think that speaks to like what they see for him, is that like they see him just like being that type of baby face who's just like, not obviously like the same type of athlete as Brock Lesnar, but like that was Brock Lesnar's thing. So I'm just like a great athlete. And so I think it just is a good sign for his future, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. I'm all in on Braun. I think he's got like the 90s personality and like the 90s early 2000s physique mixed with the athleticism and the exciting in-ring of today. Like he kind of brings what the indie wrestling fans like, but then he brings the character that WWE fans have been kind of conditioned to like as well. It's a great mix. And it's funny you bring up the athleticism, because he is a former football player, and but Nick Khan's been making this move to kind of get all the indie guys out and bring in these athletes who already have the physique and already have the abilities. You just have to teach them how to be a wrestler. And obviously the PC is great at what they do. Look at who we have, look at a lot of who the champions are now. Look who's coming up. Like, the fucking WWE Performance Center is undefeated, to be honest. And, it's really just how much they're willing to buy in, and it's working out. So yeah, I love Braun. Obviously love Melo. Unified North American champion right now. He's doing his thing. And I think, the future is incredibly bright and incredibly diverse for
Speaking
WWE.
of that, I think it's like, so not funny, but it's like a really a master class in like running a business to see what WWE has done to 205 Live without like ever explicitly saying it. Like, first they started just like putting women's matches on it for no reason. Now they just have gotten rid of the cruiserweight title just completely. And now it's just like a dark show. Like, it's just like their little like, oh, it's kind of like a level above main event, but like not, it's like NXT's main event. It's just interesting how they've just like taken this thing that no one really watched and turn it into like a useful thing where it's like, oh, we can kind of give them some run, see if they can wrestle, like da da da. And it's just funny how they've turned it into that, where it's like the name 205 Live truly means nothing. Like, it has nothing. Like, even like Roderick Strong, like it was like, is he even the cruiserweight? He's just like in really good shape, but is he like a cruiserweight? I don't think so. But it's just interesting they just got rid of it. It'll be interesting what they do next, because they only have the one mid-card title. So
it feels like they're running it a lot like the MLB. Obviously, SmackDown and Raw are what the MLB is, but then NXT is AAA, and then 205 Live and Main Event are AA, and then like the dark matches on SmackDown and Raw are kind of like when you call someone up to a 10-day when someone's injured and you need, you kind of need to see like what they can do and what the future is like. It's really genius. Like people feel like people praise WWE too much, but like, look at what they're doing. Like there's consistently people coming in who are filling these roles and are doing extremely great with it. Like, and since someone gets injured, it's next man up. Someone gets released, it's next man up. Like, the company really isn't like, they lost a lot of people this year, bro. Like, big names, people that we all really liked. And they really haven't missed a beat. Like, if people are complaining about it, it's really just because their favorite isn't with the company anymore. But it's still enjoyable TV. Like, Raw has been really good. SmackDown had its doldrums, but that's getting better. NXT is only getting better every week. Like, it's honestly crazy how they're able to keep trimming the fat and stay consistent with the product. So it's very exciting times for sure. So let's jump into these free writes. We're going to kind of do some fantasy booking, some Galaxy Brain booking before we get into our rewrite. So we'll start with you, Chan. You got The Final Boss written here. So what you talking?
So I've consulted the elders. I've made the pilgrimage to Miami. I burned the sage. I ate a scorpion, and I've divined and spoke with the ancestor. And it's time.
Wow.
It's time for The Rock to come back. It's time. It's time for him to win the Royal Rumble. It's time. Like we've reached a point where the actual final boss has to step up, and we need Dwayne. I think it lines up perfectly because it allows you to have The Rock be around but not have to actually wrestle. That's always like the concern where it's like Edge was really the exception to the rule of a guy being like, no, I would like to wrestle and have multiple feuds, where a lot of times you see it like kind of before Brock's current run where they show up and it's like, no, I'm going to only wrestle at the pay-per-view. So The Rock probably being a busy guy, looks like Black Adam's almost done. They're shooting those fucking Red Notice sequels, which I did love. But anyway, you get The Rock back in. I think what you also get to do is in that time, you can then kind of have the family dissension storylines pop back up, and you can have more Jimmy and Jay matches. You can call up Solo Sikoa. You can have Rikishi make an appearance here and there. Like you can kind of keep the family stuff in kind of turmoil, and that kind of fill up, your roadblock, fast lane type pay-per-views. And then I think you have yourselves I think one night of the WrestleMania will be main evented by the women. That'll probably be the Becky Bianca or whatever that match ends up being. But I think as your other main event, I think going Rock versus Roman is really about as good as you can do. And especially with the pandemic, you kind of seeing how that is. You don't really, you never wanted to hold on to stuff, but now it doesn't have to be an injury. It can literally be like when you find out someone has COVID the day before. So I feel like they're going to hopefully, just stop waiting on stuff and just call it in now. And so it's like, let's pull the trigger on Rock. Let's get this big pop in Dallas where we have this massive main event, and give the people what they want. You get to find out who actually is the final boss. I think you can even if you don't want The Rock says I'll win, but I'll drop the title the next Friday on SmackDown. I would just you could have a battle royale, or you can have fucking, I don't know, Braun Breaker come up and beat him. I don't give a fuck. But I just think that is the logical conclusion to this. He's already set the record for Universal title to be the longest champion. Cut it off with The Rock, have a great match, let him go home to his kids, and send them off like that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like I'm visualizing it now. Roman beat Edge at Money in the Bank, John Cena comes out. Roman beat John Cena at SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar comes out. The only places you can really go for Roman would be either Undertaker, I don't think he's coming back ever, or The Rock. So I'm thinking of Roman finally beating Seth Rollins in a singles match for the title at Royal Rumble, standing over him, telling the St. Louis crowd, acknowledge me, and then if you smell hits and Rock comes out, he doesn't have to win the Rumble. I wouldn't have Rock win the Rumble. I would just have him come out because you know what it is. As soon as that music hits and he pulls up and just raises his eyebrow at Roman, like you know the deal, and that gives you a good
the pop. If it's just he's in that state, you just hear if you smell. I think
please don't. I'm already getting excited. We can't.
I'll start crying. I might start crying. That pop will be so crazy, dog. Because if they kept it a secret, that's the thing is that they can't announce it. It has to be either he is contestant number 30 and he just drops in, or it's like that, where it's after the Roman's match and that's for whatever reason the main event and he comes, and it needs to be completely surprised, and people will lose their fucking minds, dude.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. Roman's match would have to main event the Royal Rumble, which I don't remember the last time a title match main evented the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. It's usually the men's Royal Rumble last, or 2018 when they had the women do it because it was the first one. So
right.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if they shifted that around for Roman. They've had Roman main event damn near everything. So especially knowing what you're gonna do to these niggas, they're gonna be like Roman Seth main eventing, and then Rock comes out. Of course, there's no way anyone could be mad at that. So I think that would be great. It'll give them time to build it up. You can still have Roman defend against other people. He's obviously, he might defend it in the chamber. He didn't do the chamber last year, so he might find his way out of that. Fastlane, he's probably gonna defend it against somebody. But it's all that stuff you said about Rikishi and the family. You can play so many different things. You can reintroduce Heyman into the situation. There's really a lot of things you can do. And Brock and The Rock have history. One thing I always thought about is Brock beat The Rock for the title, and then Brock and Rock like never interacted again. And I'm like, yeah, it was dope that Rock wanted to put Brock over, but you could have got so much more out of that from that situation. So I'm just like, yo, would they ever revisit that?
It would be so crazy because they are both so far from those people who would without like literally having like a character change. Like the Rock and Brock are just so different as people, like physically. Like Brock and are both so much bigger. Like it would be such a weird thing to see, like them versus their young selves, and like Brock is now all this facial hair and the long hair, and The Rock is bald now, and it would just be so weird to see. And it's also, I feel like no bullshit, I feel like The Rock is also like, oh no, Brock will really fight. Like we'll fight. He's fighting. I'm not fighting him.
He'll hurt me.
I have to act, bro. I'm not really fighting him. Like that's crazy, dog. Like no way.
That would be dope to see though.
Cece, how about you? I see you got something Brock related here.
Yeah, well, speaking of Brock, I'm thinking about Brock and his current gimmick. A lot of times, if I used to watch a lot of movies coming up as a young lad, and one thing that was a common trope is once a character has decided that they're gonna leave whatever life that they've been living before, the motherfuckers go off to a farm. And who do we have right now? Farmer Brock. So I'm like, what if this is kind of like a sign of like things to come? Like, what if like Brock's like close to like retirement or whatever? Because like I can't see him going until he's washed. He looks like he has too much pride for that. He seemed like he would just be like, you know what, that was my last one. So like I kind of have it. The way I was thinking about it was that, all right, so like Brock tries to defend the championship against Bobby at the Rumble. And then through MVP like interfering or something like that, like Bobby actually like takes it from him, right? And then this doesn't like cause Brock to like be mad at Bobby. What happens now is like Brock like starts to get like upset with Paul Heyman or whatever, because this is the second time that he's been in a championship match or whatever, and there was involvement from the outside, and Heyman wasn't on his side really. Like like Heyman didn't really like help him win, and because of it, Heyman actually like he lost like both times or whatever. So it's like he starts to look at him kind of funny or whatever, and he already talked to him crazy or whatever. So he starts not trusting him. You start seeing Brock show up without Paul Paul doesn't know where he is and stuff like that or whatever. So that kind of like goes on and on or whatever. And then the way I have it is like after that, Brock like takes the title back at some point from Bobby Lashley, like on some surprise stuff or whatever. And then he has it at WrestleMania or whatever, but he drops it. And this is my super galaxy brain. He drops it to fucking Goldberg. And then we don't see Brock for at least like a year and a half or something like that or whatever. But that was just like my galaxy brain one. But like I was just, the reason why that sparked it, because I just had the thought like, what if like Brock is like close to retiring and he's just getting some shit off or whatever. Like I see that happening in the next like 2 years. But the other side of what I had though is this is going to be the best women's Royal Rumble that we've ever seen. I'm predicting that right now. I think there's like 10 spots left that we don't know about at this point.
Around that,
give or take. I don't know who's gonna jump back in. I know Asuka is cleared. I heard that Asuka's been cleared somewhere. I don't know where I heard that. I forgot. It might have been Cap. So like, hey, don't hold that shit against me. I was just reading some shit on the internet. It might not be true. You know how the internet is. But I want to see Asuka get back. I don't think I wish she was. I don't know if Bailey's ready yet, but if she was ready, that would be fucking
could
dope.
potentially be.
Yeah.
I think Mania is a safer expectation than Rumble.
Mm-hmm. And then like, you know, a couple surprises here and there, with one being from probably from like NXT 2.0.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
then probably one from the past, or like something else, you know, or like, you know, maybe they're wrestling somewhere else or something like that or whatever, like one of those. But like the way I'm looking at it is like, if you look at the landscape, I'm whatever, I'm like, these are a bunch of people who know how to like put this kind of match on. Like a lot of these people like know what to do in this ring. Like I think this is gonna be a really, really good match. And I think it's gonna be the spark. I don't know. I don't have like a right for who's gonna win it or whatever, because I kind of don't even want to predict it. I really want to like keep my mind away from that, because then I'm gonna start figuring shit out, and then I'll have like a list, and it'll be one of the people on the list.
Yeah.
But what I do want to predict is that this is, or like rewrite, is that this is gonna spark like the new like a new women's era. Like I don't know what it's gonna be called, whatever, but that's why like when you were talking about the women's evolution earlier, I thought that was kind of interesting, because this is what I'm feeling, that same kind of energy around right now. Like we got a lot of good stuff going. They have all the right tools. They just need to do something with it. And I think it's even possible that you see something like a woman's like kind of like 1 hour sub show, like with just women's wrestling, probably evolve out of this, because they have a lot of talent and there's a lot that they can do. It's just about how much they want to invest. That's them investing. I can see them doing that if Stephanie can convince or whatever. He's like, hey, come on, my husband's sick, please help. Like, or something, like, just, you know. But yeah, that's just what I'm seeing for it.
Yeah, I can see it too. I think that there's a really bright future with the women. But all of our free rights kind of tie in together. So with Brock in mind, with Roman in mind, death, taxes. The only things guaranteed in life are death, taxes. Seth Rollins beats Roman for the title, but Roman bends the rules with help from Heyman. So as CC alluded to earlier, you know, Brock, when he was on SmackDown with Roman, and Heyman was like saying, Roman, I loved you. I helped you with all these things. And then Brock was telling him to shut up. And then Roman was like kind of defending him, like, yo, don't talk to him like that. Like it was weird, because when they went to Raw, they were completely cool. Like it didn't seem like anything was happening, but I was like, that they were planting a seed there. This Brock Heyman alliance came back together a little too soon. It's like Heyman got left by his new girl, so he went back to his old girl. But you know, like in reality, like where you really want to be. So what I'm thinking is like Roman loses to Seth. Now, we predicted Roman losing before. We said, oh, this is the time for him to lose. And so realistically, I don't think he loses to Seth. But if he were to lose to Seth, last year I made this prediction that he would lose to KO at the Royal Rumble in the last man standing match, and then end up joining the Royal Rumble, win it, go to Mania, win the title back. I think it's more realistic this year. And I think with the help of Heyman loves moving chess pieces behind the scenes, but Adam Pearce is like Heyman's little hoe. So like, I feel like in furthering this Roman, Brock, Heyman love triangle, in kind of finding a way to secretly bring Heyman and Roman back together, and for Heyman to get back in Roman's good graces after Roman thought, you know, Heyman was doing him dirty. Heyman gets Roman into the Rumble. He enters at number 30. He eliminates whoever it seems like, you know, the favorite to win is, whether it's Riddle. And that's the thing, Riddle and Orton losing the titles, like, hey, man, it could be Riddle winning that Royal Rumble. I predicted it to be Finn. It could be Finn. Like, I feel like it's going to be some babyface who's like cooking. And then it gets to the end, and there's like a final four of like Big E, Sheamus, Riddle, and maybe like some legend or something. And then Roman comes in right at the end and just shocks everyone and wins and gets his Mania match. And whether he chooses to face Brock or he chooses to face, I don't think, maybe he would choose to face Seth. I don't know. But I just, it would be so perfect with this character, with the way that like him and Heyman just be making stuff happen. Like why not do that? Go ahead.
No, Armand, I got you. He doesn't have to choose between. he's gonna choose both and unify it. He said he's the head of the table. He said this is his company. If he really wants it to be his company, there will be one title. Now, obviously, like later down the line, like they come back in and be like, well, you know, you said you could do it, but like we're not gonna actually unify them. There's still gonna be two titles.
Yeah.
You just happen to hold them, blah, blah, blah. He'll probably drop one to somebody in some kind of match, blah, blah, blah. But like, think about what kind of stuff that Roman is on. That he said, the nigga say he's in God mode, bro. Like at this point, why not go for something like that? He stacked two Hall of Fame legends on top of each other and pinned them.
That was wild.
Like it's like, why not go for both? Because think about it. He was gonna lose the when Seth stole the championship from him at that WrestleMania when he cashed in. Yep. He was gonna lose to Brock. Like he was getting close to winning, but he was gonna lose, like, or whatever. And he's lost to Brock before. He's lost to Seth before. Like, so this would be kind of like a final, like, if I knock both of these guys out at the same time, I'm really him or whatever. And I got these two belts, and you know, it's all me. So yeah, like, yeah, I'm rocking what you're saying, but let's take it there. Let's take it there.
And it'll be such a good visual, Roman having both of the titles on his shoulder. Like it would just be it would be beautiful. Bruh. It would be beautiful.
Bro, you need that poster would be classic. They'd probably make NFTs out that hoe.
Yeah. That shit would be raw.
They make an NFT out of anything these days, so absolutely. But with Roman in mind, or with the Royal Rumble in mind, our rewrite is going to center around the 2016 Royal Rumble match. So this was the 29th annual event emanating from Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. Now, the story going into it, Roman was the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He won the title in a tournament that finished at Survivor Series. Due to Seth Rollins' injury, they had a tournament to crown the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He defeated Dean Ambrose in the finals. Then Sheamus cashed in his Money in the Bank and took the title from Roman. Roman ended up winning it on TV on Raw about a month later. And he was given the McMahon family hell. So Vince McMahon forced him to defend the title in the Royal Rumble. This was the second time ever that the title was defended first time it was defended in the Rumble. The first time that the title was winnable in the Rumble was vacant. But Roman was forced to enter at number one through a rigged lottery. Some other facts about this Royal Rumble: Brock Lesnar was forced to participate despite Heyman insisting that Brock should be able to skip it and face the winner at Mania. This was the debut of AJ Styles. He was the number 3 entrant. Dean Ambrose entered the Rumble despite having a last man standing Intercontinental title match earlier in the evening with Kevin Owens. There was a fatal 4-way tag match on the kickoff show to decide 2 entrants into the Rumble. Mark Henry and Jack Swagger defeated Darren Young and Damian Sandow, the Dudley Boys, and the Ascension. In this Rumble, Roman eliminated Rusev and was later jumped by the League of Nations. He was injured and taken to the back. Braun Strowman cooked in this Royal Rumble, eliminating Kane and the Big Show. Kevin Owens eliminated AJ Styles and then was eliminated by his rival Sami Zayn. Brock Lesnar eliminated Jack Swagger and every Wyatt family member except for Bray. And then the Wyatts attacked Brock and eliminated Brock. Roman Reigns returned during the Royal Rumble during Sheamus' entrance, beat him up. Triple H made his first appearance since TLC, where Roman attacked him and entered at number 30. Triple H helped Sheamus eliminate Bray Wyatt. Roman Reigns eliminated Sheamus, and Triple H then quickly eliminated Roman Reigns, guaranteeing a new champion. And Triple H ultimately eliminated Dean Ambrose to become a 14-time WWE champion. So we are focusing on rewriting this 2016 Royal Rumble, and keep in mind what came as a result of that. At Fastlane, there was a triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Brock Lesnar to decide who would face Triple H at WrestleMania for the title. Roman ended up winning that, and then he faced Triple H at WrestleMania and defeated him to become a 3-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So, rewriting this thing, who wants to kick it off?
I'll start because I probably got the least galaxy brainy one. All right. So I'm gonna rewrite I'm gonna rewrite parts of the Rumble leading up to the last parts, because that's what I really want to focus on. And what you just said, just replacing one person and what you just talked about. So the first thing that we're gonna do is switch Jericho and AJ Styles' times. I believe AJ Styles' time was like 27 minutes. Jericho went somewhere from like 5 to 10 minutes longer than that or whatever. I want to switch those times. So like when AJ gets tossed out, that's Jericho getting tossed out, and AJ's still in it, just like Jericho's still in it through all the time that Jericho's still in it.
Right.
Now here's the thing: when the Wyatt members are in there, fuck that. Sell Brock. Have Brock eliminate all the Wyatt members or whatever, including Bray at one point or whatever. And then make it look like and at this point, he's still in, like when Triple H comes in and stuff like that, he's like still in at this point, and make it look like he's about to kill like Triple H and Dean and like Roman and Styles or whatever. But then the Wyatt members all come back in the ring, and then they gang up on them, and then they eliminate them or whatever, and then they like take them to the back. They like drag them to the back too or whatever. They like beat the crap out of them outside and drag them to the back. All right, boom. Now we back in the ring. Roman mix Sheamus up, boom boom, get him out or whatever. Now you got your final four. You got H himself, Roman, Dean, AJ, boom. Triple H gets rid of Dean, boom. AJ gets rid of Roman, boom. AJ gets rid of Triple H. AJ wins the Royal Rumble and
his
debuts as WWE champion. Because what do you know? For one time in their lives, the WWE just let an indie guy just run over them for some reason or whatever. And then you still have a triple threat match at Fastlane, but except for Triple H that's going to be faced, everything still plays out the same way except for Triple H. It's AJ Styles, and you have Roman and AJ Styles put on a fucking banger at WrestleMania.
And that's dope because they had like 2 pay-per-view matches after that, so that would just be like a 3-month feud essentially. That's hard. That's hard. Okay. All right.
You know what's funny is I had that too.
Shit.
No way.
That wasn't the only one I did, but one of like the full sin, like the Galaxy Brain, is just put it on AJ and just have him start heel AJ, just be like, I am phenomenal. I came in here and this was light work. And then you turn Roman into like WWE's champion, and he like wins it for the company.
You saw it. You saw it. Thank you. It was right there.
Because it would be cool because it's Triple H is basically like a gimmick champion anyway. It's like, he's not going to wrestle. So like, give it to him. So that was one of mine. That was like my guy. But again, the issue is Vince McMahon would never give TNA that much credit. He should, because I've always said that like Ultimate X match where they're hanging on the ropes is like truly one of the most genius ideas I've ever seen, and Vince refuses to do it. But he would never give him that much credit. That'd be cool. The realistic answer, though, I think, is that if you kind of wanted a placeholder champion, I think it's Bray Wyatt. Because I think if you look at that timeline, that's the WrestleMania where he didn't even have a match. It's Eric Rowan versus The Rock. Yeah. So, like, I think if you basically you can essentially have the same feud. You can have, Bray eliminate Dean, because this is when the Wyatt family is really at the peak of its powers. So you really identify them with the title. You could have him eliminate Dean. You have him feud with Dean. You could have Roman win the triple threat and then face, like, you can keep all that the same. You could even have, if you want to have a triple threat match with Triple H, Roman, and Bray, if you think Bray is not big time enough yet. But I think the issue with what happened with the Wyatt family, one of the many issues that like they never fully like committed to it once they were like, it's kind of like the same thing with Braun Strowman. When Braun was as hot as possible, they never committed to him until it was way after the fact. And so they gave Bray the title way late. I think by giving him especially a big WrestleMania match early and then a big title win at the Royal Rumble, I think you kind of legitimize him. You let him do more creative things. And I think that's really the most realistic thing you could ever do. That's how I would do it.
I like that.
Right. So mine is very long-winded, and there's a lot of background that goes into it. I'm changing what happens at like multiple pay-per-views leading up to the Rumble. So Survivor Series, Roman still wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship tournament. And at the end, when Triple H comes to shake his hand, Roman still spears him, and he gets his moment to shine. Now, Sheamus attempts to cash in, but remember, Dean is out there. Roman beat Dean to win the title. So Dean gets in the way of the Brogue Kick. And then Roman Superman punches Sheamus, and then he and Dean celebrate together. On the very next night on Raw, Stephanie McMahon gets angry at Dean for getting involved in a potential world title match by getting in the way of Sheamus's Brogue Kick. And so she puts Dean in either he wins the IC title from Kevin Owens or he gets fired match. Dean wins the IC title on Raw, and Stephanie McMahon gets frustrated that her plan doesn't work. So she forces Roman and Dean into a title versus title TLC match at TLC. Now, the two are uneasy going into it. And, you know, obviously with them being brothers, the two that are still close after the Shield breaks up, they're like, you know, we're going to stick through this together. We're going to figure it out. So Roman and Dean come out with each other to each other's matches leading up to TLC. They help each other out. They help them get wins. And so Stephanie gets even more angry, and she changes their TLC match from a match where you have to climb the ladder and grab the title to win to a pin submission only match, because she wants them to feel the pain of having to beat, pin, or submit one another for the title.
Goodness. Shakespearean.
Right. So Stephanie also assigns Sheamus as the special guest referee, and she assigns the League of Nations as the enforcers to ensure that there is a winner and they don't try to pull anything in their match. So at TLC, they fight a grueling match. At some point in the match, Sheamus gets in Roman's face, Dean pushes him, and then the League of Nations attacks both men. Now, Roman and Dean fight them off as best as they can, but Kevin Owens is still tight. He lost his IC title to Dean. So Kevin Owens pulls up, helps the League of Nations, that they attack Dean, they attack Roman. With
Is
everyone,
he Canada? Is that his nation? Is Canada?
Yeah. So, and so with everyone laid out, including the special guest referee, a new referee comes out, counts a double count out. So then at the Rumble, so, you know, Stephanie is frustrated, Vince is frustrated. They're like, nah, like this, you know, like we need to get this title off Roman. Roman is raising hell. So they still have Roman defend the title at the Rumble. Dean still has his last man standing match against KO. He beats him. Now they're in the back in the locker room having a conversation, Roman and Dean. Roman and Dean are talking, and Dean is like, you know, like you're you know, you and I could be the final two again, man. And like, you know, we're going to have to go at it again. I just want you to know, like, you got to main event WrestleMania last year, and like, it's my time. So, you know, if it comes down to us, there's no hard feelings. And Roman's like, hey man, you know, I did main event WrestleMania last year, but I didn't win. So I have to go back this year. And like, you know, I'm sorry. Roman tells Dean, it's not your time. So things get really tense between them. And then Roman walks away. Kevin Owens beats up Dean in the locker room. So Royal Rumble time. Roman still enters at number one, but there's no angle where he gets injured. He just fights his way till the end. Triple H still returns, still joins this Rumble. Roman and Dean eliminate Triple H. They eliminate Sheamus. AJ Styles and KO make it to the final six. KO eliminates AJ. Dean eliminates KO as well, because, you know, that beef. Dean had to get it back in blood after getting beat up in the locker room. So it comes down to Roman and Dean as the final two. Roman eliminates Dean, and he then he celebrates his win. He successfully defended the title in a Royal Rumble match. Crazy. So, you know, he celebrated. Triple H and the League of Nations attack Roman after the match. Dean is there because he literally just lost, but he's pissed about losing again. So Dean walks out. And then Sheamus, who got eliminated, but had his briefcase by the ring, cashes in on Roman and wins the title after Roman just defended it in a Royal Rumble match. So Triple H comes to Raw the very next day. He's angry at Sheamus because the plan was never for Sheamus to cash in. The plan was just for them to fuck Roman up. So they have a little shoving match, and Triple H says, you know what? I'm just going to fight you at Fastlane for the title. So it's Triple H versus Sheamus for the title at Fastlane, a little rematch from their WrestleMania match. It was like WrestleMania 26 when they had their match, I think. And then there's still the triple threat between Roman, Dean, and Brock at Fastlane as well. The League of Nations turns on Sheamus and helps Triple H win the title from him. Roman wins the triple threat match, goes to WrestleMania. Roman beats Triple H. So, like, there's a lot of backstory and there's a lot of after story, but essentially the moment where Sheamus catches in on Roman isn't Survivor Series. It's the Royal Rumble. Roman
After the Rumble.
Gets to have the title for a bit. He's got to face his boy. He's got to finesse his way out of a title versus title match. And but the bigger moment is the man goes through a Royal Rumble match. Brock is in there. Braun is in there. AJ Styles debuts. It's this big moment, and he's celebrating all that. And then he gets cashed in on there. I think that would have been an even crazier moment. And the whole Triple H and Sheamus thing, them being in an alliance together, and then them breaking up just makes it a perfect situation for Roman to creep back in and get his title. Now, I don't think this would have made the crowd like Roman at this point.
Nope.
In 2016, but I think it's a pretty cool story. So that's my rewrite, man, because I honestly hated that Triple H ended up winning that Royal Rumble, man. I was pissed. I was so pissed.
I loved it.
I was so pissed.
I love it every single time. And I know how people hate. I'd love that run where Triple H had like a WrestleMania match every year. I loved it. Because it's just like, yeah, this is just a TV show. This isn't real sports.
Mm-hmm.
And people fucking love Triple H. Do you understand how many people just know who Motorhead is purely because of Triple H?
Mm-hmm.
Like they would never, ever listen to Motorhead.
Mm-hmm.
But Triple H has like single-handedly put them on the map for some people. People love Triple H. And so like anytime Triple H can like just go over, like especially because he puts himself over so many times, it's like you gotta love it. You just gotta, because they just don't make them like everyone now is all humble and like, no, it's about, the company and like I'd love to like go on my back and put him over. Triple H is like, no, fuck that. It's about me,
bro.
Putting myself over.
Mm-hmm.
Where I am watching Raw right now, this same guy is coming out to the ring and saying for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching at home, and then he would just name whoever he had beef with at the time, and like 3 times he's named Vince McMahon in separate episodes, and I'm like, yo, you are wilding. And then he says, let's get ready to suck it. So it's like, yo, this guy he's never played it safe. Like this nigga is all risk.
Wow, boy. I love it.
He was like, wait, what? Boss's daughter? Yeah, I'm gonna try for that. Let me see what happened. Like, what?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Triple H is he's something. He's something. He definitely makes for compelling TV, whether you like it or not.